welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hello everyone, I am Mike.
And I am Karen. Today we are looking at part A of A Day at the Zoo. Well, for all the animal lovers out there, you're going to love our dialogue today.
You absolutely will, and our dialogues tomorrow and the next day. The dialogue is A Day at the Zoo. We'll be spending 3 days there with Steve and Jane, the characters in our story. When was the last time you spent a day at the zoo, Karen?
Well, it's not that long ago
Really?
because I work with kids. I'm a teacher, so we go on field trips to the zoo all the time, and it's quite tiring, but I have to say the kids really have a really great time. How about you? When was the last time you went to the zoo?
Probably quite a long time ago, though. I would love to go back. I know the Taipei Zoo is a really great zoo, and I think they've made some changes there since the last time, so I should go. There's actually a bus that goes right by my house that ends at the Taipei Zoo.
Really?
So every time I see it, I think, I should just get up in the morning on a day off and go and spend a day at the zoo. But I've definitely been to the Taipei Zoo. When I lived in England as a child, I lived near the London Zoo, and we used to go there quite often because it was very close to my home.
So as a kid, you also loved going to the zoo.
Loved it. Yeah. Watching TV shows about animals is great and you can learn a lot, but actually seeing them up close and getting near them and smelling them sometimes can be a very interesting and exciting experience, and it doesn't really matter if you're into little insects and spiders, or you're into cute animals like koalas and my favorite, pandas, or if you like the big animals, the elephants, the giraffes, the lions, the tigers. They have most of those at any good zoo you get a chance to go to. So let's do it. Let's spend a day at the zoo with Steve and Jane. Steve and Jane are at the lion area.
It's the king of the jungle. They're so big and strong.
They aren't bigger or stronger than tigers.
True, but lions have the loudest roar. You can hear it from up to 8 kilometers away.
I had no idea. I read that lions are good hunters.
So today we are checking out part A of A Day at the Zoo, and we have 2 characters in our dialogue today. We have Steve and Jane. So Steve and Jane are at the lion area. Rawr.
That is exciting. That is definitely one of the big, exciting animals people love to see at the zoo. Let's see how our dialogue begins. Steve starts first. He says, "It's the king of the jungle. They're so big and strong." Yeah, Steve there uses a very common sort of nickname or other way of describing the lion as the king of the jungle. Of course, a king is a ruler of a kingdom. There aren't many kings in the world these days. We can think of the King of England now, right? Charles III. In Europe, there are a few kings as well. But this is kind of an old form of a ruler or leader of a country. Most countries now, of course, pick their leaders and call them presidents or prime ministers. But back in the old days, the lion was the king of the jungle in the same way that European countries like England and France and Sweden had kings. The king of the jungle, though, that's something that you wouldn't normally wear a crown and live in a palace, because you're an animal if you're the king of the jungle.
Exactly, but I think they're considered the king of the jungle because they are so scary, they're so fast, they can go and catch animals really quickly. So king of the jungle, what's a jungle? So jungle basically means a tropical forest in which trees and plants grow very closely together. So for example, you could say the Amazon rainforest is probably one of the world's most well-known jungles.
Definitely the biggest jungle in the world. Now, there might be some of you out there who've watched TV shows about lions and go, wait a minute, In Africa, they don't live in a jungle. They live on the grasslands. They live on what we call the savannah. And as a kid, I thought that name was weird. King of the jungle. But they don't live in the trees and the forests of Africa. They live in the flat grassland, the savannah. It's not really a scientific idea, being the king of the jungle. Kind of as you said, it's a powerful animal. It's also a symbol of pride and strength and things like that. And really, if we look in the world of big cats, there's actually another cat that's even bigger than a lion, and Jane knows all about it.
That's right. So now Jane says they aren't bigger or stronger than tigers.
No,
oh, I didn't know that. I've always thought that lions would be bigger and stronger.
Yeah, and the other thing is that tigers actually live in jungles. The jungles of India and places like that. So it's kind of weird to call lions the king of the jungle, but whatever. It's a cool name. True, says Steve, but lions have the loudest roar. Ooh, that's a good point. That is a very good point. They definitely roar. They roar with the loudest sound, right? And it says you can hear it, the roar of the lion, you can hear it from up to 8 kilometers away.
Wow.
That's quite far.
It is very far.
I couldn't yell that loud or even, play music that loud to hear an animal's make an animal's sound 8 kilometers away. That is impressive.
It is. And Steve actually knows quite a few fun facts about lions. And now Jane says, I had no idea. That means she didn't know that before. Just like me, I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is new information.
I read that lions are good hunters. And I believe so. And that's why all the animals would be scared of the lions.
Exactly. And as we mentioned there, the roar of the lion is very loud. Roar! That's the kind of sound we think of when we think of a roar. I can't do a lion's roar. My roar is more like a monster from a movie or something. But basically, it's just a very loud sound. It won't have words or anything you can really understand, but it's clearly the sound that is very powerful, and it might be a little bit scary too. So we could talk about the roar of an animal. We might also talk about the roar of a jet airplane as it takes off, right? The sound from the engine. Very loud. You can almost feel it in your body. And if this roar is so loud, you can hear it from 8 kilometers away, it must be very loud.
Super loud. Okay, so what's a kilometer and what does it mean? So kilometer, or sometimes you would see it as km, is a unit to measure length and distance. And it's equals to 1,000 meters. So for example, you could say he walks 2 kilometers to work every morning. Well, I guess that would be very, very good for your body, right?
Definitely. I think people walk around 3 or 4 kilometers in 1 hour or something like that. And yes, a lion is also a well-known hunter. A hunter is a person or an animal that chases and catches and then kills other animals for food, generally. Humans can be hunters just for sport. If you're out there shooting things with a gun or a bow and arrow, you could be a hunter. But generally, when we think of this, we think of animals we call predators. These are hunting animals. So they don't eat grass, they don't eat leaves and fruit on a tree. They eat other animals. So sharks would be hunters, lions, of course, bears are hunters, that type of thing. So yes, it is a very well-known hunter. Also, another little interesting fact, the boy lions don't do most of the hunting. It's the lady lions who are really the good hunters.
So what do the boy or male lions do? They kind of just sit around all day?
Roar, look tough, and make new baby lions. It's a pretty easy life to be the king of the jungle when you're not really in the jungle and you don't really hunt and you have a loud roar.
You just look really cool.
Yeah, it's not a bad life that the boy lions have there. All right, we'll take a break and then we'll be back with more.
Yeah, they're social animals, so they work together to bring down zebras and other prey.
Right, and they mainly hunt at night.
It's hard work, so they sleep around 20 hours a day to save energy.
That's just like my little tiger at home.
Welcome back, everyone. So before the break, we were looking at our dialogue called A Day at the Zoo. And we were looking at two characters, Steve and Jane, and they're at the lion area, right?
Ooh, that's right.
They're checking out the lions and talking about the lions. And Steve was sharing some interesting facts about, how they're referred to as the king of the jungle. But they aren't the biggest animal, right?
Biggest cats.
Biggest cats, exactly. Actually, tigers are bigger than them.
That's right. And tigers actually live in jungles. And tigers will hunt all their own food. We learned there that boy lions don't do a lot of the hunting. But as Steve says, yeah, they're social animals, right? Tigers kind of live on their own in the jungle, but a social animal will live in groups, okay? So when we think of dogs, we think of them as being social animals, or dolphins. Sharks, not so social. Often in the ocean, you'll see just one shark on its own. Sometimes they come together, but unlike things like elephants and cows and horses and other things that live in groups, they are not social animals.
So, like cats, the cats that you have at home, they're not really social animals either, right? They like to be by themselves. But whereas dogs are usually social animals.
Definitely.
They like making friends, they like being around people. So if you use this adjective to describe people or animals as social, it just means that they like to meet or interact with different animals or people. For example, you could say, I'm shy, but my brother's very social.
Okay, but of course, as an animal group, humans, we are social animals.
Yes, we are.
Yes, everyone is a little bit. I'm sure there are lions out there like, no, I want to be alone. I don't want to go to downtown with you guys. But in general, they live in groups. They cooperate together, as Steve says. So they work together to bring down zebras and other prey.
Bring down? What does that mean?
That's what social animals do. Yeah, here he's using this term bring down. That basically means to chase, hunt, catch, and kill other animals. They work as a team to do it, as dogs and wolves do, as everyone probably knows. And they don't hunt on their own as tigers or cheetahs would, for example, or leopards.
That's right. So now Jane would say, right, and they mainly hunt at night. So they don't hunt during the morning, but they hunt at night. And like you said, usually it's the lioness, the girl lions that hunt, and the boy lions, they kind of just sit around and wait for their food.
They might go out and supervise and hang around, but the actual chasing and catching and killing is often done by the lady lions. It's hard work, says Steve, hunting at night. You might notice this if you have a cat at home. Sometimes around 11 p.m., your cat goes crazy and starts running around your house or your apartment. It's a similar thing. They hunt at night. They get a lot of energy, and that's why they sleep during the day, just like lions. So they sleep around 20 hours a day to save energy. I think house cats, it's around 16, 18 hours, very similar. I was lucky enough to go to Africa when I was a kid, and we saw the lions, and they were just lying on the ground taking a nap. And as a kid, I felt disappointed. Like, hey, wake up, go do something, chase an animal, kill, hunt, go. And they're just like, just taking a nice nap and having a pretty relaxing afternoon. And Jane says, kind of like her cat.
Exactly. And then Jane says, that's just like my little tiger at home. Well, she doesn't really have a little tiger, right? So she's describing that as I have a cat because tigers are referred to as big cats.
Exactly. And maybe her cat is named Tiger.
Maybe.
Or looks like what or something. There you go. All right. Well, that's our first day at the zoo. We've learned a lot about the lions. Now I kind of want to go back already to see the lions at the zoo. They are beautiful and fascinating animals. And tomorrow, we're going to have a lot more, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so come back and join us for that.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Steve and Jane are at the lion area.
It's the king of the jungle. They're so big and strong.
They aren't bigger or stronger than tigers.
True, but lions have the loudest roar. You can hear it from up to 8 kilometers away.
I had no idea. I read that lions are good hunters.
Yeah, they're social animals, so they work together to bring down zebras and other prey.
Right, and they mainly hunt at night.
It's hard work, so they sleep around 20 hours a day to save energy.
That's just like my little tiger at home.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 king 名词，大王、国王。The eagle is the king of the skies. 老鹰是天空之王。下一个单字 kilometer 名词，公里。Ivy runs 5 kilometers every morning. Ivy 每天早上跑5公里。下一个单字 hunter 名词，狩猎者，猎人。The hunter tracked the deer through the forest. 猎人穿越森林，追踪那只鹿。最后一个单字 social 形容词，群居的。Monkeys are social animals. 猴子是群居动物。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 up to 数量至多，高达。我们来看看这个例句。The room can hold up to 30 people. 这个房间最多可以容纳30人。下一个文法 I have no idea. 我不知道。这是一个口语用法，后面可以用 that 来接一个子句来加以说明。我们来看看这个例句。I had no idea that Ivy already left the party. 我完全不知道 Ivy 已经离开派对了。最后一个文法 bring down 击倒打倒，这是一个可以分开的动词片语。我们来看看这个例句 The storm brought down several trees in the park. 这场暴风雨吹倒了公园里几棵树。以上就是这一课的重点单词跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Can you believe this? Someone actually won the jackpot. The odds were 1,000,000 to 1.
1,000,000 to 1? So you mean it's like almost impossible, but they still won. That's incredible.
Exactly. It's like a miracle. I mean, what are the odds of us winning if we bought the ticket?
Actually, still 1,000,000 to 1. But you never know. You could always try, right?
I guess we might as well try our luck.
Okay, I got it. Let's go buy a lottery ticket after we finish our coffee.
All right. Hello, everyone. Today we are talking about the expression 1,000,000 to 1.
That's right. This phrase is used to describe something that is highly unlikely to happen, like winning the lottery.
It emphasizes that while the probability is extremely low, there is still a slim chance.
Exactly. For example, you might say it's 1,000,000 to 1 that we'll have perfect weather for our entire vacation.
Or getting a table at that restaurant without a reservation is 1,000,000 to 1, but it's still worth trying.
So remember, 1,000,000 to 1 doesn't mean it's impossible, just very improbable. Who knows? You might be that 1 in a million.
That's all for today. Keep dreaming big and taking chances.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.